All right, welcome back guys on the video. Again, we actually had an interesting price action last week and we actually hit a new all-time high. And this week it seems that we're about to also have a good price action as well. And last week we had FOMC where inflation data, and this week is going to be unemployment data. You know what? Before I try to get into the price action talking about the specific target I'm watching on SPY and my game plan, let's go over the economic calendar and see what data we need to deal with next week. So this week is going to be a busy week. We have different data and the market can actually move either way. So if you look at Monday, or we pretty much actually have a busy Monday as well. So we have PMI, we have SMI, and we also have Governor Lisa Cook thinking. So definitely those two data right here can actually make a nice, create some nice volatility in the market. However, and following Monday and Tuesday, again, we have another Fed chair speaking as well, Michelle Bowman, and we also have jump opening. Again, this week is going to be more about employment. And most of the data we implement, especially on Friday. I'm going to talk about that really quick. So mainly focus on employment, right? And on Wednesday, again, we have, ADP employment. Also have again under final US service PMI and also IS services. And definitely pay attention to the employment data that will be coming out this week. And on Thursday, we also have initial jobless claim as well, and another couple of Fed speaker. And the biggest day for next week is going to be Friday. Friday is going to be where the market can actually gap up or gap down really significantly. We pretty much have like the US unemployment report and then also US employment rate as well. Also have the US hourly wage and hourly wage year over year. And we also have the consumer sentiment and the consumer credit as well. So these data will definitely have a strong effect on the market on Friday. And this actually came out before the market opened, pre-market. So swinging from Thursday to Friday is going to be a really risky trade, but can also pay as well if you capture the right direction. So that's all the type of data we'll be dealing with for next week. Let's go over the price action and talk about SPY and the key level I'm watching as well. So I'm currently on SPY right now, and if you look on the weekly time frame, let's look at what kind of candle we have on the weekly time frame. Again, with SPY has been making new highs almost every week. So if you look at this price action, we can see that we actually hit the all-time high at this level. And even though we actually close red, the candle is already set, but the price action altogether we actually push higher. Right. So last week actually closed here, and you can see from where we closed. I mean, the week before last week we closed here, and you can see for where we closed last week, we actually closed above the high of that previous candle. And this right here keeps showing how strong the bar has been. All right. So shorting the market has been really tough. You have to be really good at catching the move down, the change of momentum. But other than that, the biggest money has been made to the upside, right? For the past couple of months right now, you can see there's so much green candle than the red candle, right? Especially for the past couple of weeks, we only have like if you look at from June 2023, right, on the weekly time frame, we only have four red candles. Only four red candles from here. One, two, three, four. Other than that, it's just like couldn't candle. So if you were pretty much focused on call for the past almost like 6 months, you pretty much have been making money to the upside really easy. So on this market condition right now, most people believe like they're good traders all that stuff because it's really easy to actually trade because like when the market moves in one direction, it's really easy, especially when there's no a lot of red candle. Most calls pretty much print. Especially if you actually give you a good time frame. So your expiration date long enough where if there's a pullback like this right here, you're gonna get stopped and you can keep continue because you actually have a longer time horizon for your game plan to actually play it out. So one now calls are pretty much be playing so really, really, really nice. So when the market actually change the momentum, that's when people during that time, if they made money without real skill, they're gonna lose it all because they don't have the real skill. They're just making money on the easy market. Right? The market doesn't be easy on a day-to-day basis, but if you look at it on a week-to-week or month-to-month, it's been really easy for people who actually trade with a larger time frame. But on a day-to-day basis, it's pretty much pretty tricky. For example, if you look at the daily time frame for last week right here, you can see for the first 2 days, for the first half, we pretty much went, making new R high and actually give back the gain, most of it at least, right? So we pretty much hit here, didn't have a continuation, actually pull back and actually stay way below the all-time high. So what are the key level I'm watching on SPY? All right. what happened on Friday. So I want the key level I'm watching pretty much based on Friday and Thursday. So these two candles right here are the Thursday and Friday candle. I'm on the daily time frame, and you can see those candles are pretty much like next to each other. While we have the Friday candle kind of inside the Thursday candle, not really nice. Or I pretty much creating a range. So for Monday, what I'm looking at is the two key main levels. I'm pretty much watching the 680 and the 685. So quickly, let's go to the 4 hour. So if you look on the 4 hour, what you see here, you see that we pretty much having like a second pullback. So here we pretty much actually have that move here, the pullback, and now we actually come down here. We also have that pullback, right? So the next natural move for the market is actually have a bounce, continue to make another impulse and make a new all-time high to continue the uptrend, right? However, if we actually cannot push right here and we actually keep making a new low, then the uptrend might be threatened, and that can create some doubt from the buyers to actually come aggressive to push the price higher, because we need to actually have the structure of the uptrend to be intact for the buyer to feel comfortable to keep buying aggressively to sustain the trend. All right, so that's the reason why I'm also watching the 680, because if we lose that, we can actually go back on the previous week supply that might actually turn into demand. So that's what I'm talking about right here. So there was a weak supply right here, right? This supply was not really strong, right? That's why we're able to actually make a new all-time high. So this thing you can see, if you look at it, what is the supply? So it comes down here, buyers having a hard time to actually break. Sellers push up pretty nice right here and couldn't have a continuation, come back, trying to reject. They couldn't, buyers came back and actually kept pushing and actually break that supply really heavily. So we didn't have a major continuation to the downside after that rejection higher. So this supply was not that strong. So now if we lose the 680, all right, if you lose the 680, actually adjust that really quick to be at 673. All right. So if we look the 680 and SPY, all right, with the 680, we have enough room to go all the way down here where that supply can actually turn into a nice demand zone where you can actually see a possible bounce, right? So we have a nice buying pressure inside that zone. So if we come down here, we'll see depending on the news too, right? Because we're gonna have a lot of news this week. So depending on news, we'll see how we actually trade. But I'm definitely watching for a move down if we cannot hold the 680. And to the upside, I definitely want to see the 685 being broken by the buyers. So we have a chance to go create that all-time high and actually push higher. Right. Now, other than that, you can see we have a nice 5 point range right here. So if you wanna trade inside that range, you can actually do it. But inside the 680, pretty much gonna be watching for a possible bounce. But if you lose it, then pretty much looking for bearish opportunity. And near the 685, might look for sign of rejection. And if you break it, then I'm gonna be looking for bullish opportunity. Right, so we have a nice range right here, and that range is about, let's see, it's about even less than 1%, but can still be tradable if you day trade a scalper to actually make quick return. So if you actually go to the even lower time frame, which is the 1 hour, right, that's what it looks like. And if you look at the 15 minute to actually look at the price action on for Friday and Thursday, you can see how those two levels are pretty much looking. All right. Let's take a look really quick. So if you look at it, you can see the 685, we actually opened below it, pre-market were above it. When we opened below it, trade down, came back to retest it, and strong rejection from the 685. But this why I show you guys that it's a good resistance. Came back again, this why the 680 was a bounce level, strong bounce, right? Rejection before the close. All right, so that's those two levels are key. Or if you also look at the Thursday price action right here, you can see how the 680 and then the close was also nice bounce as well. All right, and before that, the 685 was a nice resistance. The price action couldn't clear that level as well. So those two key levels are the key main levels to actually watch, especially for next week, and especially for Monday. All right, so we need to actually have a break of that range to actually have a clear idea where the market can go. Other than that, you can actually trade inside that zone. So 680 actually the bounce right here, bounce or here, I think that is resistance or proper rejection. You can see that. But if we actually lose it, we're able to actually lose that. I mean, break those level, then we can actually have the continuation to that level. All right, so that's something I'm definitely watching. All right, I'm not gonna make it to this video too long, but let's talk about my target really quick. All right, for to the upside. To the upside, I'm definitely watching the target near 695. It's bullish for next week. Right here. 695. And below it, it's all about like 684, 674 theory. Oh yeah, 674, 673. Oh yeah, shoots before and 673. I'm not gonna have that. Shoots right before the getting into the zone. So the upside is gonna be a bigger move because if the buy wanna push up, they're gonna actually wanna push really, really hard. Right, so from what we close right here, it's about almost 2%. And because, I'm saying that because they're new, so we're gonna see how we actually go. But definitely, this is the first time I'm watching to the downside. The 674 may add room all the way down to go to the 670 and the 668. All right, so let's actually have the 670 as well there. Just in case the selling pressure is just strong enough, you can actually have the 670 here. And if you look at this right here, it's also almost at the same range, right? See, about 1.8, and this right here about 1.8 as well to the upside. So that's pretty much the big range I'm pretty much watching. Merge these together, immediate target for on this side. Let's actually make this really significant. I'm gonna make this color to be purple and this one to be green. This is gonna be white. And I'm gonna make another target here. It's gonna be for the all-time high and to be right here. So this right here, pretty much is the all-time high right here. Yeah, so pretty much that's pretty much the main target. Now I have a lower line on my chart. I don't have to have a lower line. But the key main level again is at 680 and 685. I already explained that to you guys, so you know exactly what it means. But this is what I have for you guys, those two key main level. Let me know on the chart what the key stock you'll be watching next week, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet.